What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Join Dota League Season 3. This is going to be the final game between Leviathan and Pain Gaming on the Dire and Radiant, respectively. Winner goes on to stay in the winner's brackets of the Division 1/2 games, and the loser drops to the loser's bracket to face, I don't really know who because I just closed the tab, but it's going to be, I believe, Argentinian Rejects, although I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, so that is about the state of it. Game number 1 was an auto win for Leviathan / Flipside. Pain didn't show up. Then game number 2 happened, and holy crap, what a game. Grandis, what did you think about game number 2?
It was something. I don't know, Leviathan, I thought they had it. They had a Riki and a Terrorblade that were farming pretty well. They won several convincing team fights. And then Pain Gaming, they turned on a switch or something. They just consecutively bumped their heads into the brick wall that was Pain Gaming. And I don't know, it just went all downhill from there. Pain Gaming ended up having 4DR on a Phantom Assassin that just got too huge to handle, and after a black hole, that was pretty much all that they needed. Leviathan just fell apart. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but towards the end of that game, they stopped farming pretty much at all, and they just aggressively went in the enemy team and continued losing fights. So I don't know, I'm kind of hoping we have another back and forth game. I think that the change of the I don't know, elasticity of the bounce back from the, what do you call it? The bounties you get when you kill somebody has found a nice little place where it punishes people that do just consecutively throw themselves at the enemy team, where you can't do that anymore. It's not going to be where the entire lead is equalized in one team fight like it was when it first came out, which was ridiculous. But now if you do that 3 times in a row, you find yourself in a situation where suddenly the enemy team has the same amount of gold as you do, and in certain situations that could be really terrible. So I don't know, this game is going to be completely different, as we're not going to see the Terrorblade or the Brewmaster and Phantom Assassin, all of which being banned out. Pain Gaming snagged themselves up the first pick Faceless Void, and Leviathan responded with the Scarith Mage.
I think probably the worst thing that went wrong for Leviathan was the fact that they just didn't have enough lockdown for 3-4 melee heroes. They were just constantly getting kited. If they had their hands on Pain Gaming, then they probably would do a lot of damage, but they just struggled so much at actually doing that. So I'd like to see Leviathan go for, the same type of caliber picks. Like, the Riki was completely random. It caught me by surprise 100%. But, complement it a little bit more. Don't just have the hero, have it, gel with the team. Because I think that was a problem for Leviathan. They had lots of powerful heroes, but no synergy. And, well, they're going to have, at the very least, a little bit of lockdown now. Wraith King, Scarith Mage, if it is a support Wraith King, if it's a core, it doesn't really matter, as they will have the stun Mystic Flare combination no matter what. But Faceless Void on the other end, Chronosphere is pretty good lockdown, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Faceless Void really deserves the first pick slot right now, but still something people are comfortable with. And Chronosphere is still Chronosphere. Faceless Void did get hit with the nerf stick a little bit, but as long as you have follow-up to that Chronosphere, some of the best being the Scarith Mage, as well as Witch Doctor and Invoker, but as long as you have that, it's still a great teamfight ultimate to have at your disposal. Yeah, this draft could go in pretty much any direction from here on out. Pain Gaming, I think it's Invoker time for them. Instead, they pick up the Lich. Not a huge fan of this Lich pickup here. As good as Chain Frost is, and as nice as it is to have that lane domination coming out from Lich, I think 4DR's Invoker is a little bit too good to pass up.
Yeah, I think I would be inclined to agree. Lich is definitely a very stable support. He has been forever. Like, that's just the way he is. He's going to be doing very consistently for you until he gets to his ultimate, and then that is when it kind of falls apart. You might get the miracle Chronosphere into Chain Frost, and then everyone will die, and you're going to be really happy with that. But more often than not, everyone's just going to Delta Split away, and then suddenly Lich's ultimate is not going to be huge. He's also a hero that usually does get through a couple of ban phases, so Pain Gaming could have picked this hero up last, and Lich is also not exactly a huge hero to play around. He is pretty unique in his sacrifice mechanic, but that's about it. So I think, though I like the Lich pick in itself, I think he could have been a little bit later. Second bans are out, and Centaur, Witch Doctor, as you said, the combination with Witch Doctor and Faceless Void is ridiculous. And then Clockwork Death Prophet. Pain Gaming kind of just hitting all sorts of heroes here.
Yeah, it's very peculiar to see how drafting is evolving right now. Right now it's in a state of flux where nobody really knows exactly what's going on. And we're still kind of in the testing period for this patch. Pudge! Holy cow, Jenkins Pudge is so fun to watch. I love it. I don't know, it fits him so wonderfully. You can play incredibly aggressively, you can get the solo pickoffs, flashy plays. It's right up Leviathan's alley, and I don't know. That's something.
I love how you're literally just saying it's in the test phase, and then suddenly we have Pudge. He's Pudge has always been like one of those heroes that you secretly hope teams will pick up, and sometimes they'll oblige you, and then other times it comes out of left field and it just does terribly. But Pudge, I don't think got hit with any buffs or nerfs, so he should be for the most part unchanged. He's really good against Faceless Void. You could get people out of Chronospheres and stuff like that. One of the few tools that does it. And Pain, wow! Go for a Drow Ranger after the Pudge pick? That is mighty bold. They also have a Faceless Void. I don't really know about this Drow Ranger, but at the same time, I don't really know about this Pudge either, so, you know, there's that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Drow's a lot more questionable than the Pudge pick, especially since you're picking a Drow into the Pudge, as well as a Wraith King, presumably building into a Blink Dagger. Yeah, so it's, I don't know, just so peculiar to see this draft. I don't know, the first game, it played like a pub game, but at least the draft kind of made sense until you see Ricky. I don't know what to expect out of these two teams, and I love it.
So what's next? Bloodseeker, Sniper, Spirit
Well,
Breaker?
not Bloodseeker, Spirit Breaker. I think that's where we're going here. Omni Knight actually wouldn't be too bad.
Oh, yes. I would
love
to
to
see
see Omni Knight. Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that we're on the same wavelength. Omni Knight Pudge is legit. In lane, it's a little bit awkward, but later on, it gets extremely ridiculous. And then at the same time, if you have a core Wraith King, if you slap that Repel on him, and if he has a Blink Dagger, Drow Ranger is just 100% screwed. That's the weakness of Drow. If you get in her face, she will do pretty much nothing but die. And Leviathan, knowing that Drow Rangers on the other end are going to do just that, especially with this TA pick. I love this TA pick right here, because it's great against Lich, and it's great against Drow Ranger. Get into her face and kill her off in like 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah, I know, it's gonna make their lanes a little interesting with the Pudge as well as a TA. I assume that's going to be a Templar Assassin mid and going to be like an off-lane roaming Pudge thing for Leviathan. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to settle down for them, but I don't know, it definitely could work out. Honestly, I would have preferred just going for the Templar Assassin instead of the Pudge, but Pain Gaming, go for the Visage Affair with the Drow Ranger. I don't think there's a better hero to go for it, and if you're going for the Drow, it's kind of like bread and butter. You're going to go for the Visage as well.
Yeah, it's a sick combination. Those Familiars are going to be doing a ton of damage. Familiars also pretty good at dropping that Templar Assassin's Refaction shields, and it's something that can interrupt Pudge without the Visage having to be in the area. So Visage overall is going to be a fantastic pick here for Pain, and they're going to be looking for one more hero. Razor's still in the pool. I think it would be a great hero for them to pick up, despite the fact that he did get changed. Leviathan going to ban out the Viper instead. Very similar heroes in that regard, but as long as the hero is ranged, then Pain Gaming are going to be very happy. So they want a ranged hero that could do some damage, and then after that, it doesn't really matter. Whereas for Leviathan, I'm inclined to think that this Wraith King is still going to be played in a core role. I very rarely see Pudges getting solo lanes to themselves. Usually it's pseudo support or dual lanes or something like that, but I don't know. If I was in Pain's Gaming's shoes, I have no idea what I would ban right now. Probably would just ban some really strong hero or someone who usually gets a blink or something like that, because Leviathan, this draft is just so hard to predict.
It really is, and in that sense, it makes the draft strong. At the same time, it's going to be all down to individual play. It's going to be Batrider banned out by Pain Gaming. I think that's a pretty solid choice. I'm not sure if Wraith King is going to be given that core amount of farm, but I don't know, it's just kind of the nature of the hero where you don't know until you actually see all 5 of the picks, and it's up to Leviathan whether or not they want to do that. So yeah, Leviathan just have a choice ahead of them that I have no idea where they're going with this, how many times you get to see Pudge, and let alone Pudge and Templar Assassin in the same draft. Yeah, I'd love to see this work out for them, and I definitely can see it doing wonders. Although, if Pain Gaming get ahead and they're able to get farm on this Drow Ranger and Faceless Void, things are going to be very scary for Leviathan. Faceless Void, oh, it's going to be a... Okay, I'm out. I have no idea what's going on. Troll Warlord for Leviathan.
GG, Leviathan win. I don't even know. Troll Warlord. Okay, he's really great with the Templar Assassin. This is pretty much going to confirm that Wraith King is going to be as a support, right? Or, I mean, Troll Warlord, Templar Assassin, maybe Pudge, Skywrath roaming or something like that. Still don't know exactly what's going on there. It's another great hero against Drow Ranger because Troll Warlord just loves to run at people, and Drow Ranger hates it when she has to deal with that. So Leviathan, assuming they're on the offensive, they're going to have pretty much the run of the game. Assuming they can get in front of the Drow Ranger, she loses her marksmanship bonus, and then she loses the aura damage because of it. So This Troll Warlord is just another aggressive hero for Leviathan. Also a little bit of late game insurance between Troll and Templar Assassin. They should be able to take this fairly late, even though there is a Faceless Void on the other end. It's, you know, a kind of frequently seen hero. It's seen occasionally. But I think in this game, it's not going to be all too terrible, especially if the Wraith King is going to be played core. He could benefit a lot from that additional attack speed. So I think I like Leviathan's draft a little bit more than I like Pain Gaming's for now, just because the Drow Ranger is such a weak pick against these heroes from Leviathan.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Leviathan are also open to a very fast Roshan, if not level 1. They have 3 melee heroes, that makes going for level 1 Roshan pretty sketchy, but they definitely can do it quick. Ember Spirit, the last pickup for Pain Gaming, I don't think really changes much about my ideas for their draft. Honestly, it's just another squishy target that can be brought down. Skywrath Mage is going to offer the silence. Wraith King with his disable from the Wraithfire Blast. Still another hero that if it gets the items, Pain Gaming are going to be in a really comfortable spot, but getting those items could be difficult.
Now, normally when we see Drow Ranger, it's because a team is going all in. They have 4, maybe 5 ranged heroes, and then really just abuse the hell out of her agility and the amount of damage she could give. Visage and Lich are going to be able to benefit from that. They always will. But Ember Spirit, Faceless Void are not the type of heroes that you usually see complementing the Drow Ranger. Maybe Faceless Void, like maybe Ember Spirit, but definitely not both, because now Drow Ranger's damage output in and of itself is going to be severely restricted just because she isn't working with as many ranged heroes as you normally see. So the Precision Aura, not going to affect them. So Pain Gaming, though the Drow Ranger Visage combination certainly is cute, I really like to see Drow Ranger being, you know, the central focus of the draft, where it looks like right now it's just any other hero.
I think that's pretty fair. Well, to start us off, I'll go ahead and introduce the dire side as we're going to get into this game with the safe lane being handled by Shredder for now, playing in the Troll Warlord, the supports Nusham on the Wraith King, as well as the Skywrath Mage, going to be played by Sunken. We are going to have a Pudge handled by Jenkins, rocking a very badass set and very expensive items to boot. And the mid hero is going to be Shibby on that Templar Assassin. It looks like it is going to be somewhat of an offlane Pudge, going for boots first, as well as Tangos getting pulled some regen, as well as a ward. Although, we could see a fair amount of roaming from Jenkins.
Maybe it's going to be him playing the same Ricky role, where it's kind of in lane, kind of not in lane, but always kind of in the area and being relevant. But either way, on the Pain side, we have Klotz 2-2 going to be playing the Faceless Void. Expect him to go up to the top lane, has a ton of regeneration in preparation for that. King RD is going to be handling the Ember Spirit over on mid, where 4DR going to be handling the Drow Ranger on the bottom lane, along with Ned's Lich, as well as Baga's Visage. The Observer Ward that was placed by the Pudge, unfortunately for him, was destroyed by the sentry placement of Pain Gaming, and well, let's see who the rune is going to go for right now. It's going to be up on top lane, where Nusham's going to find a double damage rune. This is going to be a support Wraith King, though, so yeah, it is going to be a core Pudge, pretty much confirmed, and Wraith King, this Blink Dagger is going to be a lot slower because of this, but at the same time, you have TA and Troll Warlord to get in the face of Drow Ranger. I think this is going to be okay. It's not the best, but I think it's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Skywrath Mage as well as Wraith King are buddied up, and they're going to bump into a Lich. Concussive Shot going to fly into Ned. They don't follow up immediately, and I think Ned's going to be able to run out here safely. There's not a lot of follow-up, although he's going to eat a right-click from the double damage Nusham. That's a decent amount, but that's about all she wrote. Templar Assassin can handle mid versus the Ember Spirit, although Ember fares better than most heroes. If you do put a couple of early points to that meld, you definitely can punish the Ember Spirit. So it's a fairly even lane, all said and done. Although the defensive refraction charges aren't going to be there for the TA. Bottom, it's going to be a Pudge versus Visage as well as a Dro. He's going to be zoned out a little bit, but should be able to get enough levels to be relevant. And I don't know. I think the focus of the action is going to be wherever Nusham and Sunken are rotating, and currently that's up towards tops, or top, putting a little bit of pressure onto Klotz 2-2. They don't throw any stuns, but just some right clicks here or there.
Fortunately, because the Skywrath Mage found the Lich in the jungle, he's leveled up Concussive instead of Arcane Bolt, so he's not actually able to pressure Klotz nearly as much as Baga and 4DR are able to pressure Jenkins. And Pudge is a hero that does need levels. That's why we see him soloing lanes most of the time, especially in pub games, because he needs those levels. And once you get high level of hook, it's level 7, 8, 9 where Pudge really gets off the ground. That's going to take quite a long time, and Pudge doesn't really have any ways of being aggressive in this lane. In a 1v2 matchup, he will pretty much just crumble, unless, you know, they end up tower diving or something like that. Pudge is going to be really, really struggling because he can't kill off this lane, and he can't help out in any other lane effectively. So I expect this Pudge to not get too much, unless he gets a Miracle Hook, which is possible. but probably going to be unlikely. And that being said, Klotz on the top lane is not being zoned out that much. He's getting a good amount of experience over here, and well, Nusham as well as Duncan, though they are capable of killing off the Faceless Void, they're going to need to layer their stuns and silences perfectly. Otherwise, just a time walk out and he's perfectly fine. It's a luxury that Pudge doesn't have, and Klotz is going to do just that up on top lane.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to see these two supports from Leviathan rotate to another lane, as they're not really accomplishing much here. They're throwing a couple of auto attacks. They don't even have the Arcane Bolt, but they are going to start with Concussive Shot as in mid. They are diving, getting first blood on the Templar Assassin. Ned notching that one for himself as he pulls the aggro away from King RD. He survives with an Invis rune as the dive continues on Klotz 2. The Time Walk's going to keep him safe with 50 HP, as a salve as well. So he's going to be fine. First blood, and the Wraith King dying to the tower. Pain Gaming find themselves 2 kills. Everybody's surviving on incredibly low amounts of HP. The highest HP is like 100 on the Lich out of those 3 heroes that dove.
Yeah, King RD cutting that really, really close in order to get the first blood. Chibi, unfortunately, the refraction charges, defensive refraction charges, don't really last too long against level 2 Flame Guard, and it'll continue to be, for the most part, an irrelevant skill versus the Ember Spirit. Between the chains and the Flame Guard, your refraction charges are not going to be doing jack. So Templar Assassin's going to struggle as far as that is concerned. Also, she got hit by a Frost Blast. Wasn't able to shield that one with refraction either. So Templar Assassin is going to be, for the most part, cut off in this game, as the Lich as well as King RD, or even just King RD alone at this point, is going to be enough to handle Chibi pretty effectively, especially when they go for round 2. Searing Chains are there. Immediately the defensive charges are gone. The Meld Hit is going to go on to King RD. Frost Blast onto Chibi, as Sunken does teleport in. Doesn't have any Arcane Bolt, so his damage is going to be severely restricted. King RD waiting for his chains to cool down, and now he's going to go for Sunken, perhaps. He actually doesn't have any items at all, like no boots or anything like that, so getting this kill is going to be extremely difficult, but they're trading blow for blow over in the mid lane, and at the end of the day, I think it's going to favor Pain. They have the bottle working on the Ember Spirit. He's going to get the 4-minute rune, and in fact, they're going to get both runes, so yeah, Leviathan, this lane isn't really going to work out for them, and they need someone to pressure this Drow Ranger. She's getting the time of her life on the bottom lane, and that's okay if you have heroes like Slark or like an invisibility here that could punish it, but they don't. Baga can get caught in the jungle, and now the hook out from Jenkins. This is going to be a walk down onto Visage, although the silence is there. Jenkins is not going to get this kill. Lich Illusion also coming from the side. Suicide is going to be there from the Pudge, but Nusham also taking a good amount of damage. Well, it's going to be kind of only just 1 kill for Pain Gaming, as the tower kill and then a suicide going to skew the scoreboard just a little bit. But yeah, Baga actually does survive. Gust is a pretty handy skill.
For sure. Leviathan, this Templar Assassin, has been more or less in a dual lane, but now the Lich is rotating, going very aggressive up into King RD, and this is the power of that meld build that I love seeing on Templar Assassins when you're in a situation like this. And if the Templar Assassin was solo versus the Ember Spirit, she definitely have a better hope as he just blows up the Ember. Level 3 meld rips the Ember Spirit apart. Did not expect those skill points to be committed. His Faceless Void up in top gets killed solo by the Troll. The bashes are in Shredder's favor, and all of a sudden, Leviathan, for all intents and purposes, tie up the kill scores. One of those deaths is a deny, and one of them is killed by the tower. So, I don't know, Leviathan have a new lease on life here. Is the Templar Assassin now level 6 versus a level 5, I believe, Ember Spirit, as well as a level 4 Lich. They're going to go aggressively again, but the Meld is still doing a lot of damage, but the Frost Blast is as well. Hook is going to come out as both of them die simultaneously. Jenkins getting the kill on the Ember Spirit. Now with the Templar Assassin trap being dropped, Ned is also going to be run down by Jenkins. He's not going anywhere. Just going to be chased, and Jenkins gets himself a double kill. Now level 5, Pudge has the room to roam, and this is all he really wants. The Drow Ranger is going to back off instead of going for the Midas and going into Power Treads as an option. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this choice, but as free as a lane as this Drow Ranger has had, she's only 23-9 in the last hit department, and I would have thought that 4DR would have had a better time not really being pressured at all.
Well, I mean, the attack animation of Drow Ranger is like one of the worst in the game, but if you're going to pick it up, you should be able to last hit decently. Like, compare that to Shredder up on top, who's having the time of his life, versus Klotz, who is doing okay in the experience department as well, but we're going to be looking towards mid lane once again. Observer Ward is there for the Radiant, so Nusham unfortunately can't catch them off guard, but Templar Assassin's coming around. Nusham's going to run to King RD. Silence is there, but Nusham already taking a ton of damage. It's going to be the death of the Wraith King at the very least. Pudge is here as well, will catch Ned in the rot, and now the Lich can't really escape, although the Lich is going to escape because Pudge decides to let him go. Concussive Shot onto Ned will bring him down to 30 HP, and well, that's going to kill him off. Templar Assassin actually the spill damage getting that one, but King RD still in the area, will kill off that Drow with 4DR coming around from the side, will dodge the hook, and now Jenkins stuck between a rock and a hard place, where the Drow is going to go off, pick off the Skywrath Mage, now the Frost Arrow onto Jenkins, burning through the trees as well. Jenkins trying to suicide, it's not going to work. King RD draws a triple kill at the end of all of that. I thought Leviathan would have gotten a lot more, but it seems like Pain were expecting that one. With the Observe Ward, they kind of saw that coming, but still, they had a lot more people in the area than I thought.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4-for-1 trade, all said and done, and King RD getting a hefty sum out of that. Sitting on 1,400 gold, have no idea where he's going to go with his build from here. Hasn't upgraded his boots or anything after that bottle and boots. Up in top, ooh, Lich is going to man fight up against Shredder, and that's not a man fight he can really take, although Shredder under tower taking a lot of damage and can't chase him down. The axes aren't going to land, but do give him Visages. The Visage is going to drop down and bottom to Nusham and company. Hook is going to miss onto 4DR, although he's going to be forced to run back. He's going to slow up Jenkins under the tower, and they do have another stun, although not enough range for Nusham. They can't go for that as there's no level 6 on the Wraith King. It's going to be 2 kills going for Leviathan in mid. King RD man fighting up against Shivy. I've seen this story before. He's looking for the meld hit. Will he be able to find it? No, he won't. The Flame Guard keeping King RD pretty safe as it's going to keep the refraction charges off of Shivy. So that's going to be it. Or is it? Shivy looking aggressively, going to eat the Frost Blast and now just dies straight up to the Lich, as well as the burn damage from King RD. Templar Assassin overestimating her damage potential that time.
Also, she got uphilled. Like, she lost vision on the high ground, and now daytime, so that probably wouldn't have happened. But now Jenkins going to run straight into Ned. Concussor Shot is there. Hook, easy lineup for Jenkins, and it should be a connection onto Ned. However, he's going to go for King RD or Sunken to bail him out. But now Ember Spirit, thinking about jumping down, doesn't have enough mana to do so. 8 short, but Lich, with the miss on the high ground, it's not going to be enough to let the Skywrath Mage escape. Unfortunately for Pudge, he can do nothing but sit and watch, but here comes the Templar Assassin to help out. King RD still with the Haste Root. Now Chronosphere is in the area. No, it's not. There it is. Level 6 on the Face of Void, now picked up. Could have been an opportunity for a 2-man Chronosphere, but Klotz just barely hitting the level 6. Took him long enough, and now Chronosphere is on the table. Pretty much the best tool that Pain have right now, aside from just pure sustained damage. Familiars are also up on the Visage, so the Drought Ranger is going to be doing some pretty heavy hitting, just being on the map at all. But yeah, Leviathan, they are not exactly finding as many kills as I really would have expected given their rotations. Jenkins is going to look down towards bottom lane to kill off Baga. His Dismember has been up for quite a long time, and if he get an eye on this Visage, he can't even kill him off because of the Familiars. But here comes Skywrath Mage. With the Concussor Shot, Baga is now 100% screwed. There it is. Pudge is going to get the hook kill, and, well, even teleporting Shredder down for this. I guess they want to go for potentially a tower push, though it's going to be pretty slow.
Yeah, Shredder's already taken the tier 1 tower up in top, and the lane was pushing, so it's not the safest place for him to farm, although with Vlad's, he could definitely farm in the jungle pretty effectively. Mid, some posturing coming out from both teams, but it's not going to net anything. Visage is going to get a medallion, and the physical damage coming out from them is going to be pretty darn huge. Faceless Void, no boots yet. Klotz, despite getting level 6 at a decent enough time, just hasn't been able to do anything after getting solo killed up by the troll. Pudge is currently top. He is smoked up, looking for a fishing hook onto 4DR, and oh, the vision is there for the Drow, looking for the hook, or does he even need it? Just going to run and eat her, and now 4DR is going to be on the run. King RD jumping in with those boots of travel, and they gust back Jenkins. Jenkins is in a lot of trouble. Will he be able to get the deny off? He won't, as King RD with those earthly boots of travel, making it work. Pulling up a lot of gold for the boots of travel is particularly greedy, but it pays off there as he's able to offer that global TP support.
I was literally just about to ask you what you thought about the Boots of Travels and Ember Spirit. It's not the first time I've seen it on the hero. I don't know if I like it that much, but certainly that time coming in huge. Saving the Drow as well as killing off the Pudge for the Ember Spirit. It's an item that if you don't get much done with it early on, it's going to be fine, except for the fact that it's going to cost you a little bit of early game. But if you can continue on with your early game, then you're going to be just fine, as Shredder is going to run straight into Baga as well as Ned. Chain Frost is available, but Concussor Shot is going to help them disengage. At the same time, the Ember Spirit is going to catch Nusham. Nusham, not yet level 6. Unfortunately for the Wraith King, he's very slowly going to roast in the Flame Guard. That's going to be yet another kill for King RD, and Jenkins, blind hook up the high ground's gonna catch him in Ember Spirit. Here comes the meld hit from the Templar Assassin as well. No meld hit, actually. King RD is going to survive for a little bit longer, but he will go down to the end. Now the Whirling Axes onto Ned, gonna be chasing him down, but the double stomp from the Familiars. Hook is going to secure the kill onto Ned. Now Shredder wants more. Into the range form he goes, but he doesn't actually have any more Whirling Axes available, so Baga is going to escape. They might be able to kill off these Familiars. One meld hit will kill off one. The second one will live at 7 HP. No, it won't. That's gonna be both Familiars, actually. For Leviathan, a huge fight for them. This recap is not exactly going to show it because of those Familiars. They're going to go for more. Baga is going to dodge a hook, but can he actually survive this? It looks like he will. Shibby deciding not to go in. They probably could have gotten that kill, although it is going to be a lot more dangerous to do so.
Yeah, Draw Ranger has been pushing up top, and she's going to get it very low. It's glyphed, and they'll be able to secure the deny because of it, looking for a stun. The Gust as well as TP out. I think it's going to keep 40R alive unless there's a first hit bash, and there won't be. Shredder and Nusham will be able to secure that deny, which is actually going to give very little gold to Pain after the recent change, so it's actually a pretty significant win that they're able to deny that away, and they still have their Glyphabill since that is refreshed. Shibby gets the bounty rune up in top bottom. I'm not sure what it was. I can't tell if it was picked up as a solution by the Pudge, and going to be using that for some scouting purposes. He sees the...
Up on top is going to get jumped by 2 heroes. The stun has already been used, however, and the Searing Chain is going to catch on both. Now the Chain Frost is going to do a lot of damage to Shredder, though it won't bounce. King RD trying to jump, and he will dodge a Wraithfire Blast with it. Searing Change onto both. Ned doing the damage, and a Familiar flying through as well. King RD living at 6 HP, but he will go down. Shredder will go down in exchange, but Nusham is still in the area. Chronosphere is available. Klotz is going to jump forward after losing his buddies. Suddenly he's all alone. Has a Chronosphere, really wants to use it, but he can't find a good opportunity right now. This Faceless Void has been pretty much a non-pick. He hasn't done jack in this game. Pain Gaming going a little bit too aggressive, overestimating the power of the Ember Spirit. If he didn't go for Boots of Travels, that could have been easy cleanup. But that's the price you pay, as 40R in the mid lane is going to get caught with the hook. Jenkins is going to get hit with the Gust, but I don't think it's going to be enough for 40R to escape, especially with Shibby coming in. It won't be. Leviathan find a 3-for-1 trade across the map. Huge wins for Leviathan, especially after that tower deny.
This is more or less their bread and butter time as a team. They can play incredibly aggressively, especially since you have an Ember Spirit that has Boots of Travel and not much else, and a Faceless Void that has literally nothing. He's going to have Power Treads completed, but he doesn't even have that now. Shibby is going to get jumped in mid, Refraction eaten through, and now he's going to get a decent melted off, although with the Vicious Familiars, with that Draw Aura, it's going to be too much damage. Actually, they didn't pop Draw Aura for that. It's still enough to get the kill. Nusham does TP in. It's just going to be that single pick-off across the map. Ward Vision coming out from the Dire is pretty skimpy. They do have one down in bottom. Nothing really to help the Pudge, but then again, Pain don't have anything to help them spot out the Pudge, with the exception of 2 wards in middle. So yeah, that's about where this game stands. Still anybody's to take. Drums completed by the Ember Spirit, and both teams have a pretty decent amount of tools to fight. Draw Ranger backs off for the late hand of Midas, and as far as Midas carriers go, I think Draw Ranger is one of the better ones. Although if she keeps on dying, that extra gold might end up just being thrown into the pockets of the likes of Pudge, who's currently looking for a hook that will miss.
Gotta keep my eyes on this Pudge. Even if he got the hook, I think King RD might be able to jump down to the low ground and survive, but Jenkins is camping out the mid lane. There are observer wards spotting everyone out, so Leviathan probably won't get the jump onto anyone. But Pain, they have a Chronosphere available to them, though it is up on the top lane. This is pretty much the time to use a Chronosphere. This situation right here where everyone on Leviathan, even if they don't get hit by it, they'll get zoned out very heavily. It's not going to be there, though, as Templar Assassin with her damage is going to take that tower out. Might be a trade down the bottom lane. The Drought Aura is active, and it tore down the tower very low. Now Shredder is going to look to first hit bash 40R. 1 hit, 2 hit, no bash. Here comes Boots of Travels from the Ember. Not a good idea. He will cancel that one in. Well, bottom lane tower does survive, and it will not be denied, in fact. Holy crap, that Siege Creep did 70 damage with that Drow Ranger Aura still active. I don't think Leviathan saw that one coming. I certainly didn't. It's going to be a tower for tower trade in the end.
Midas, again coming out from Pain. It's going to be now in the hands of Klotz 2-2. I don't know, it's definitely not a bad choice coming out from them. It's going to allow them to go pretty late in this game as King RD silence. The hook is going to land squarely onto him, although the running away will keep him alive. Ember Spirit surviving on fairly low HPs. The Arcane Bolt is going to fly through and do a little bit of damage to King RD. Running for all he's worth as the birds are going to chase him down.
I'm pretty sure the last patch just added a new thing to the charts. I'm not sure if I'm crazy or whatever, but Shredder as well as Shibby gonna get jumped into the Roshan pit. Chronosphere now is available, will be used onto one, but King RD still dying, and he will go down at the end. Now Chain Frost bouncing through between Roshan and the Templar Assassin. He's gonna go down, and Klotz stuck in the Roshan pit. Jenkins going to rot him up with the Urn Charge as well. Here comes the Ember Spirit, bought back, traveling into the Familiars. We'll get chains onto Nusham as well as Roshan. Jenkins still looking for a hook angle, though doesn't have enough mana. It's gonna be sunken on the run, being chased down by King RD. Will try to find a deny in the Ancient Pit, won't make that happen. Ember Spirit's going to secure that kill. Familiar's still in the area, and Ember Spirit, well, now taking quite a bit of damage. Ned is going to be the target focus, though, walking a little bit too close. Hook will kill him off. Now King RD fighting against Nusham as well as Jenkins. That's going to be Reincarnation down. King RD up on the high ground, but there's no one who could actually get up there, let alone kill him off. Pudge does have enough mana to bring him down, but that's a bad idea. In fact, King RD is going to jump right back down on his own volition. Now Hook being lined up, he will land it as well. King RD slowed down to a crawl, and he will go down as well, popping a drum charge to do nothing. In the meantime, top lane tier 2 was brought down. I don't know who came up out ahead on that. It looked like Leviathan by a little bit, although very, very slightly, as Roshan is still alive. I think they could probably secure this one. Meld level 4 is legit, and Roshan is not healthy enough to sustain this.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a win for Leviathan. I think in the raw numbers it is as well. Still, no Roshan going their way. Templar Assassin potentially getting the Aegis. The Sun's coming out from the Visage, but no denies or Roshan steals coming out from there. Jenkins has consistently done quite a lot of work on this Pudge. Lining up hooks, he's missed a couple, but that's kind of to be expected. Still, the presence of the Pudge is definitely being felt by Pain Gaming. They're still in a decent place as far as this game is concerned. Their heroes are getting a lot of gold, although Pain need to avoid the fights. This Faceless Void's Chronosphere doesn't actually mean that much, as Lich Ultimate's kind of nice to throw into it, but without a lot of damage on your Ember Spirit, Drow, as well as Faceless Void, it doesn't really amount to anything. Ember Spirit currently pushing out top is going to throw out chains onto just some creeps and then clear those up with Flame Guard still activated. If he gets bashed by Shredder, he might be in a little bit of trouble, as there is some backup coming through in the guise of smoke, although he is able to remnant away, and that smoke gank is going to completely fail from Leviathan.
Well, at the very least, they're still smoked up, so they could look for potentially someone else. So, could have been a little bit worse, and they're going to head towards mid lane, where Klotz is potentially a little bit vulnerable. With the Faceless Void change, I don't think he's going to have time to Chronosphere if he gets hooked, and King RD going to run straight into 2 again. There's the Dismember, as well as the Amplification, Mystic Flare as well. That's a lot of magic damage, and Ember Spirit did not have a chance to put his Flame Guard up. The Smoke Gank, after all, is going to be a success on the Ember Spirit, just as planned. So, a little bit of a win for Leviathan, yet this game still pretty even, as they've been trading kills pretty much non-stop. The Drow Ranger with the Blink Dagger, Hand of Midas, now going to go for a Yasha, has been pretty much playing PvE this game. She's been having the time of her life. She's getting very, very farmed. And Leviathan, though they do have a Blink Dagger on the Templar Assassin and BKB on the Troll Warlord, oh, well, they actually have a Blink Dagger on Pudge. I think they actually do have enough tools to shut down this Drow Ranger, so it's still pretty much anyone's game. I really want to see this Faceless Void do something, because he hasn't been doing anything for his team.
Yeah, that's fair. Jenkins fishing in mid, not going to land the hook onto Ned. They jump in with the Faceless Void, looking for the Chrono. It lands solo into Jenkins, as does the Lich Chain Frost. It's going to bounce just increase, maybe to get another lucky bounce to Jenkins. Taking a lot of damage, looking for the deny, not going to find the denies. Ember Spirit gets a dominating spree. Well, there's a win. Solo Chronosphere nets them a kill on a pretty solid target, and it's going to give them a gold swing of about 1,000 gold, all said and done. So, Pain Gaming are going to come out on top in that exchange. Although the Drow Ranger up top is looking mighty juicy, it's just Shredder there, and he can't really solo kill this Drow. Bar some really good bashes and no blink coming out from 4DR. Is 4DR going to blink? He's going to disjoint that auto attack, but doesn't blink into the trees, however. 4DR is still going to be fine. There's nobody else in the vicinity. Blink Dagger is also going to be picked up by the Wraith King. Not the fastest blink you're going to see, but still definitely serviceable on your support Wraith Kings. So yeah, just another way that they have to jump into the enemy team. 3 Blink Daggers currently is the total for Leviathan.
So the key thing is jump in at the same time and make sure to not get hit with a Chronosphere or a Chain Frost or anything like that. That is potentially a danger if they're all going to be jumping in on the Drow Ranger. That means they're going to be all clustered up, especially when you're talking about a Troll who's in melee range and the Wraith King and Pudge also going to be in melee range. So Pain might be on the receiving end of a melee versus range matchup again, just as we saw in the last game, should Leviathan get a little bit too careless with their Blink Daggers. That being said, if they take a very scattered fight, then the Blink Daggers are going
4DR?
to give Leviathan just such a huge advantage, as 4DR is being hunted down in his own jungle. Haste Rune onto Shibi. You cannot escape this Templar Assassin, and that's going to be a nice kill for Leviathan. Going very deep for that one, but getting a kill nonetheless. Still, bottom lane, though, is being slow sieged by Pain. I think Leviathan are going to be okay with that, since they're going to go for a tower of their own.
Yeah, with Troll Ultimate, they definitely can trade pretty effectively, even if the Troll's not there, just the global presence of that extra attack speed on the likes of Shibi, and even the Pudge and Scarth Mage, just everybody getting that extra boost. So I think this is going to be a straight-up trade, although the Tier 2 tower is going to fall in bottom a little bit faster. The Glyph has already been spent. Well, Radiant Courier is actually going to die. Didn't actually see how that transpired. I think it was Scarth Mage. It didn't have anything on it, but they'll be able to kill the Courier. I suppose Pain just not paying attention as they're TPing back, trying to protect this Tier 2 tower. It's already incredibly low. As Shredder looking to shred some familiars, not going to find them, and everybody making a hasty retreat coming out from Pain. They might end up going back in, although they're a little too spread out. Ember Spirit's going to go back. Tier 2 tower falls in the favor of Leviathan. Tier 2 tower down in bottom is actually kept alive.
That's a huge exchange for Leviathan. They get the Courier, and that was in fact Scarth Mage, who was just intercepting the courier on its way back. They popped the battle trance at the exact same time, the way they saw it, for the tower and for the courier at the same time. Ned in a little bit of trouble, although it looks like Troll didn't get the memo about this. Ah, there it is. There's the stun. Chain Frost is available for Ned, and he's probably going to throw it, although here comes a creep wave. Suddenly, Ned's just going to get shredded by the Shredder, and at the same time, middle lane, they get a pick off on the Faceless Void. So they get a tower, they keep theirs alive, and they get 2 kills. It pretty much doesn't get any better than that if you are Leviathan. Roshan, well, it's not available to take, unfortunately for them. That would have been the cherry on the cake, but they're still looking pretty good, especially since they're getting all these aggressive picks off with these Blink Daggers. Ember Spirit, I'm sure he has his Spirit set up somewhere, although it's going to run out, and suddenly he might be in a little bit of trouble because there's a Blinking Pudge with Dismember. Yeah, well, King RD is going to be safe for a couple more seconds, but there's the silence, concussive shot as well. No Mystic Flare just yet. Jenkins going to blink in for the Dismember. Mystic Flare available? Not needed. So much magic damage between Dismember and Rot, and 40R can do nothing but watch his buddy die. In the meantime, bottom lane, the rest of the heroes from Leviathan are going to be taking down a tier 2 tower. Someone's going to teleporting in. It's Klotz, and he wants Chronosphere, but he's not going to get it. He didn't even have it available, in fact. Blink in from Nushim and Shredder and Shibby. Does everyone on Leviathan have a Blink Dagger? Pretty much. Sunken needs his, and then they're pretty much all decked out. Huge wins across the map for Leviathan.
It really is. I mean, it was kind of looking like this last game, but I don't know. It's Pain that are trying to avoid fights and not doing a very good job of it. It's the Pudge that's just going to be able to blink Dismember you. The hooks don't actually matter that much, as his initiation range is still huge. And then the psychological impact of having hooks is still huge on top of it. You have everybody that can just blink straight on your face, and that's not where Pain want to be, especially when you have a Faceless Void that can't do any damage inside Chronosphere. Their follow-up to Chrono is very limited. Ember Spirit's still working on his first damage item of that Battle Fury because he went for the Boots of Travel, which over time is going to save him some gold, and, well, now he's going to go into Sunken. Can't get off the chains, and I think this TP is going to be successful. Does he get the chains off in time? No, he won't. The silence lasts too long, and Skywrath Mage is going to successfully make it back to base.
The Pudge is also stalking this Ember Spirit, waiting for his Flame Guard to drop. Don't think he has enough damage to kill him off, but they're going to catch 40R. Oh man, that's 130 HP survival. Jar Ranger barely escaping the bashes. Jenkins will run into the Lich. Now this is a kill you could take, and he will secure that one right before he gets Chronosphered. He's actually still in his hook animation, and now he's looking for the denial, suicide. Not going to happen, unfortunately. It's hard to out-suicide an Ember Spirit, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Not the cleanest, although, never mind, yeah, it's not the cleanest, but it's a kill nonetheless, going the way of Leviathan. Pudge definitely getting a little bit too over his head. He did draw out a Chronosphere, I guess, which is nice, but I don't think Leviathan can actually do anything off that. Pain are going to be more than happy to take that trade, as King RD is slowly getting more and more gold. His Battle Fury is not going to be the fastest, but as long as it comes up at all, it should be very useful for him, because really no one else on Pain is doing the damage. Drow Ranger would be doing damage, if not for the fact that everyone and their mom has a Blink Dagger, and suddenly, when Drow Ranger has a whole bunch of heroes in her face, she's doing very, very low damage.
Yep, they might be able to take a tier 2 tower up in top because Chronosphere is down, but now with the Desolator on the Templar Assassin, this just got a whole new level of scary for Pain Gaming, as the TA can pretty much solo anybody on the enemy team. Maybe not Ember Spirit if he has some Remnants out and there's no follow-up lockdown, but the likes of Lich, Drow Ranger, Visage, maybe Faceless Void, even if he gets Mask of Madness on and just gets Blink melded upon. Invis Room by the TA, as well as a Blink Dagger available. This Ember Spirit needs to be careful, although he doesn't know it yet. If he gets hit by anything, he's going to fall. He's flirting around with a very dangerous crowd here, as 3 heroes from Leviathan are inbound. They're going to decide to not go, as they can't see all of the things going on behind here, as the Blink forward by the Drow Ranger is not going to do much, as Nushim also has his own Blink. And, I don't know, this Drow Ranger, usually not a hero that's easily kited, is going to continuously run into the problem that she can't pursue them after her first Blink.
Yeah, these Blink Daggers are such a pain in the ass for Pain Gaming, and maybe if 4 more of their heroes got Blink Daggers, they'd be in better times, because clearly it's working out pretty well for Leviathan. They pick off the Roshan, which I wasn't even watching. I was watching the Familiars, which they also get, that were trying to backdoor the tier 1 tower. So it's Aegis going the way of the Troll, and now Leviathan, they are at such a huge advantage just in momentum alone, not to mention the golden experience. They're going to go for a tower push. They have Blink Daggers galore. If anyone shows their face on this middle lane, they will get absolutely obliterated, and that's pretty much a promise. So the Pain Gaming, they're going to have to be very cautious, especially with Jenkins throwing out random hooks here and there. They have 1 set of Arcane Boots in order to sustain their mana. Not the best, but Pudge is going to be a little bit more cautious about his usage of hooks. regardless, they're going to go for this tower push. And if anyone gets hooked, then I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a tower down.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair, and even if they don't get hooked, with Troll Ultimate as well as the Desolator on the TA, these structures are going to fall incredibly fast, as did that Roshan earlier. The Roche, you didn't look at it, and it's probably not your fault, honestly. It fell within a blink of an eye, like with the minus armor from Meld as well as Deso, and a Troll ulti, it did not stand a chance. And, well, onto the high ground they go. Troll Ultimate pop. It's going to do some decent damage as the hook goes on, lands squarely onto Poggy, silenced up and blown to bits. Troll Ultimate is still running. They dropped the Pudge Ultimate, probably not necessary, but still, a pick-off's a pick-off. The Visage Familiars are still alive, although they can't comfortably show their face. If any hero on the side of Pain is going to get picked off, they'd prefer it's their Visage, and they are going to force back at least one hero in the Wraith King back to base, so they might not be able to fully commit for this, although the tier 3 tower is still going to fall slowly.
Ice Armor coming in huge right now, at the very least slowing down the attack speed of Shredder, and it looks like Leviathan won't get too much out of this one. I think they actually did end up losing a tower. I think it was bottom lane tier 2, although I might be a little bit wrong on that one. It seems like the Pain heroes were doing a little bit of split pushing regardless, and well, Leviathan don't really get as much as they really would have liked. They still have the Aegis though, so I think they're just going to take this time to tend to their lanes, push them out just a little bit, and then get right back on the pushing train. Don't really want to let this Aegis go to waste because they are so much more powerful at the moment. And, well, they're going to, keep applying the pressure over to the mid lane. The Pudge threat is going to eventually drop off in the fact that Pudge can't just insta-kill your heroes, but the hook will always be relevant, and Leviathan will be able to slow siege given the fact that they do have hooks, as well as all these blink daggers. However, if they give too much time to the Faceless Void, then things get a little dangerous, because Faceless Void is still pretty much an irrelevant hero at this point, aside from his Chronosphere, so the more time that Leviathan wait, the riskier it's going to get for them. They're going to go for King RD, and they're going to land him, the stun on him first, and he's going to jump all the way to the other side of the map. It's hard killing off this guy. You need a Skywrath Mage there.
Yeah, Ember Spirit is going to back off for his second Battle Fury after his first, so slowly, Pain are getting to a point where their heroes are relevant. Door Ranger is still good at split pushing, as are the Ember Spirit and Faceless Void. Still, the 5-on-5 engagement is going to the hands of Leviathan, but if you let this game sit for another 15 minutes or so, Pain Gaming are going to be incredibly comfortable taking those engages, as long as they have another 1 or 2 big items on those 3 heroes. The push is going to come again from Leviathan in mid, although it's without their Wraith King and then without their Troll. Draw Ranger is poking her head over by the Wraith King, and we do have an Aghanim Scepter completed by our Visage. We're looking for the hook in mid, not going to find it. Jenkins going to be wide to the left, although that was more or less a complete blind hook, so can't really fault him for it, or fault him for trying at the very least. Desolator is going to make this tower push pretty quick, especially now that they have the Troll ultimate. They're not going to focus Shibby at all, and he's just going to take this tier 3 tower with no fuss coming out from the enemy team.
Easy tower picked up by the Templar Assassin, and well, the rest of the team is still in the area, so they kind of want to make this happen. 40R being a pain in the ass with the split pushing. That's about it, though. I think this might be ignorable, although it's hard to just go in against a Chronosphere. Again, it's not the hero itself, Faceless Void, you have to worry about as much as that one skill. So Leviathan are definitely going to play this one a little bit cautiously, and they'll in fact rotate out of the mid lane. Happy with getting yet another tower, and they're going to smoke up, look for a retreating Drow Ranger. They are not going to find her because she is in the middle of freaking nowhere. Just waiting, I suppose. She's going to eventually cut the creep wave and just looking to play the rattiest role possible, but the smoke is still active for Leviathan. Now they're going to circle around, they're going to see Klotz. In fact, he uses his Time Walk, jumps straight into Shibby, and now the damage is there. Mystic Flare is going to annihilate him. There he goes. Chain Frost, Delta Split, guys. Sunken's going to take hit, and now the hook onto Ned as Nusham sets that one up with the Wraith Fire Blast. Pasher up on Wraith King? Really? He went for that. Okay, that definitely happened. 40R in the meantime, still being that annoying split pusher, is going to TP away. But regardless, it's still 2 kills going the way of Leviathan. The split push, though, oh my god, the split push. Top lane, there's Familiars working with a whole bunch of damage from the Drow Ranger, tearing down this tier 3 tower. And Leviathan, they just can't get the push that they really want because all these heroes and all these abilities, mostly from the Drow, are forcing them back.
As far as the Bastion and Nusham, I like it. I think it's going to transition him better into a carry later on. They will clean up all of these Familiars as Desolator is just going to rip them apart, and they'll stop this split push. But also with the attack speed coming out from the Troll ultimate, it's pretty solid as Pudge finds himself a hook onto 4DR and brings him down. Now, Skywrath might suffer a similar fate as King RD is going to be the one to drop. Wow. just like that, Pain lose all three of their very important heroes in a very sloppy engagement. I didn't think that the Ember Spirit would die there, but apparently he didn't have a Remnant out or anything to jump to.
Skywrath Mage with the Yule Scepter, crucially keeping himself alive for just those couple of seconds as Troll Warlord had enough time to reposition himself, blink in, and then go to town. And the beauty of Battle Trance is that it's used, but it's right back up again, so he could use that for the Templar Assassin, and then I'm pretty sure melee racks are forfeit. Here comes the Chronosphere, gonna land onto 2, but what can they do about this? Pretty much nothing. Where's the Chain Frost? It's not there yet. They're going to survive both of them. Shredder now in the BKB will try to run away. 40R is going to try to chase forward, but now you're blinking into a troll. Bad idea. Shredder's going to go to town. That's going to be the death of the Jar Ranger. Pudge is also going down in exchange. Newsham taking a lot of damage as well. No reincarnation for him, and he's going to drop. The Raxes stay alive. And I think you have to give a lot of that thanks to the fact that Chronosphere, at the very least, is a very, very long stun. Like, even if they're not taking any damage, they're not doing any damage to you. So Jar Ranger, she has to be more careful in that. Like, blinking aggressively for those kills is fine, but blinking that close to a troll is never, ever a good idea, especially if you're a Jar Ranger. That's just a terrible idea. And now, Leviathan, though they did lose 2 heroes, they're going to look for a retaliation kill on Baga. Concussive Shot is going to open things up. Mystic Flare as well. The trap is going to slow him down a little bit, but the rest of the heroes not in the area. Blink from Troll is available. There it goes. One hit, not even needed. The second one, they're going to catch Visage, and now they're going to go for Ned. Huge melt hit, and the Whirling Axis from long range will help seal the deal there. Klotz is stuck in the trees, and he will be spotted out somehow. I don't know how they have vision of that, but they're going to find him regardless, as now Sunken on the run from King RD. He's going to get time walked upon. Has Yule Scepter, will throw the face for him there, but the rest of the Leviathan team going to leave Sunken for dead. Rip Sunken. He's going to go down as Shibi. In the meantime, is going to clean out all the familiars once again. These familiars have been dying so often. Just a huge amount of gold going the way of Leviathan as they accrue themselves a larger and larger advantage in this game. Shibi is going to get rescued from the trees. This time, Pain, they have all their cores alive, but all their supports are down. But Leviathan, they still can't actually go for this, I don't think. It's a little bit too risky, unless they're really feeling baller, in which case, go for it, guys.
If they get another pickoff, they definitely can, and I think they're just going to chill until they find that opportunity. Roshan has the potential to be up fairly soon, only about 20 seconds before we see the official timer for that one. And I think it's going to be Leviathan's choice to wait for that next Roshan, as even though they're fighting up against a Chronosphere, Roshan is just so quick by them. If they push out the lanes and just keep them in a comfortable place for them, which it looks like that's what they're going to do, they'll be fine. It's down in bottom looking for the Bash, is not going to find him, and 40R is, or King RD, excuse me, is going to be able to remnant away towards the mid lane and be fine. So yeah, I think it's just going to be... Whoa, what's going on?
Yeah, he's in an awkward position. I saw him not being able to, like, just staying there, and I was like, okay, he's gonna move eventually, but he apparently is having some issues. Hopefully it's not a bug that we have to, you know, really go full out and restart, but he was trying to go for the... Oh man, it is gonna be a bug. No! Alright, so he's gonna try to reconnect, and hopefully it's going to be just fine, but... Yeah, the beauty of Troll Warlord is that Wraith King was able to just turn things around on the Ember Spirit, because Ember Boots had traveled in for that kill, or for that kill attempt, but Wraith King with the attack speed that he has, plus Basher, is just going to be going to town, and King RD is stuck. We have ourselves an awkward situation.
We're going to wait for 20 seconds till his Boots of Travel is online, and then we'll see if they can actually get out of this pickle. For now, King RD is just going to be standing off courtly as he waits for that cooldown.
Chronosphere him.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, he's just kind of walking in place. Alright, there we go. TP back to base. He can move!
Hallelujah, guys. We fixed the bug. We're heroes. In the meantime, Jenkins sees 4DR. Speaking of heroes, there it is. Hook into Dismember. 4DR will get bailed out by these familiars. 1, 2, 3 stomps. Now 4DR going to try to gain some distance, but TA's in the area as well. Jump charge and the rot. Jenkins almost going to secure this kill by himself, but it's going to be Shibi to take that. And here comes Baga. Where are you going, Baga? Terrible idea. Oh man, Visage, where are you going and why are you going there? It's 2 kills instead of just 1. And Leviathan, now they have a nice little opening where Drow Ranger's down. She doesn't have a buyback, but none of the lanes are really cooperating for Leviathan. They might take this tier 2 tower off of this, however.
Yeah, I think they'll take the tier 2 and then back off for Roche. Roche will be up at that time, although they will not know the exact timer when it's going to be up. They will know immediately once it is, due to the Psionic Trap in the pit. So tier 2 tower is going to fall, and they might put some pressure onto the high ground, although I'm not sure if they can fully commit for Rex. You're still pushing up into Chronosphere. They might try. Let's see. If Jenkins finds a hook and he's going to fish for it, he lands it squarely onto Ned, who gets blown up. No ultimates coming out from the Lich in this team fight. And with that, middle barracks just got completely blown apart. They use the troll ultimate, but the glyph does come out to delay that as they jump in. Shibby doing a number onto this Ember Spirit, but can't complete it as the Chronosphere comes out, lands on Shibby with the hook. Going to keep Shibby alive for a little bit longer. He's living with the help of Wraith King's heal. And that's going to be the lane of Rax going the way of Leviathan. The Wraith King's aura keeping Templar Assassin alive. Gus comes out from 40 yard, but he's in too many enemy heroes and gets brought down immediately. They're going to look for the chains, but Baga's now getting blunked upon by the troll. Onto the sidelines, King RD is going to go, but he's the only survivor. Nusha might lose his ultimate if they commit for this any harder, and well, the pull away from Jenkins is going to keep him safe. He will eat a couple of tower shots for his trouble, but that's one lane of barracks. They are going to lose the Wraith King ultimate, but that's all that they lose for that. That's going to be at least 2 sets of racks, and I don't know, maybe even more. Let's see, they're not going to commit for it fully as they have to push in the creep wave a little bit more, but they're going to do so, and with 30 seconds with no Faceless Void, no Drow Ranger, it should be fairly straightforward to take at least another set.
Okay, Pudge, good Faceless Void counter or best Faceless Void counter? Because that just bailed out Shibby, and without the Templar Assassin damage, they wouldn't have been able to take that so convincingly. And holy crap, they just blew this game wide open. I guess we could blame the 20 seconds where the Ember Spirit was unable to move, but just like that, they find a pick off on the Drow Ranger up on top lane, and really that just starts the snowball. They kill everything, and Pudge is there to bail everyone out for the Chronosphere, the biggest threat, and it didn't do anything, and just like that, it's going to be good game. Oh man, this series has been pretty interesting.
I want to watch more of Flipside Tactics or Leviathan. That was a whole lot of fun to watch. How many times do you get to see a Pudge actually work out and they pick a Riki? I don't know. It's a very YOLO style of playing Dota, but it's a whole lot of fun to cast. So yeah, I don't know. Pudge, I would say, is a pretty solid Faceless Void counter, but only if it's in the hands of a capable Pudge. In this game, Jenkins did the job.
I would completely agree with you, and well, guys, that is going to be it. Leviathan take this 2-1 over Pain. Pain are still in the Division 2-1 kind of thing going on. They'll drop down to the lower bracket, but Flipside are going to be continuing onward, where they'll be facing in the next round either Azurus Gaming or No Earth Spirit. So good luck to them in that round, and that is going to wrap us up for the night. More casting is going to happen tomorrow pretty early, I believe. We're going to be doing some MPGL, and then a little bit later some more JDL games. So be sure to hit that follow button if you enjoyed it, guys, and if you really enjoyed it, go to facebook.com, twitter.com/HeflaTV, follow us and on there, or maybe even subscribe if you're feeling super generous. Heflamoke, youtube.com/Heflamoke is where the VODs are going to be uploaded soon enough. Again, game number 1 wasn't played, so there's only going to be 2 games. I'm one of your casters, I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis V. It's been a hell of a series, and do you have anything else to say?
No, it was definitely a hell of a series. It was a lot of fun to watch, and thanks for joining us here on HeflaTV.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. GG.